1. Lift off. We can do finger guns, and some people will know what we're doing because this is full color Dolby Digital.
Ooh, not for me. Not Dolby Digital over here. We're more like we're barely getting out of the black and white era of television over here at Gator
MGM
Blossom's
Studios.
house. Yeah.
Technicolor.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. We'll figure out the lighting someday. I do think that the camera looks better though. I feel like you can see more clearly.
So. Yeah. I can see the whole shape of your face.
We're getting there, folks.
We love
we're
it. We love to see it. Oh, and you know what? You know what this means too? Sadly, it means that neither of us is in LA anymore.
Oh, man, I want to go back. It was so great. I want to eat the good tacos. I want to have the margaritas with the tahini rim. I want to be out in the sun on the rooftop. What a luxurious experience. I get it now.
I still don't like LA. Sorry to the LA folks. I don't love LA, but I do love Summer Game Fest.
What a special time. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And we have a lot to recap. God, this was our very first Summer Game Fest ever. First of many, hopefully. Knock on wood.
Please.
I don't think either of us, to my knowledge, we didn't like deeply offend Jeff Keighley in any way. We didn't even see him.
Ooh,
so
fingers
hopefully
crossed.
we'll get invited back.
Please. I hope we get to go back because damn, it was nice. It was fun.
It was great. It was so good. And just very, very big to be invited. So we're incredibly grateful for that. Before we before we dive into anything, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm still on Pacific time. I've been like going to bed so late, waking up so late. So I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. I had a really busy trip even leading up to SGF. I was working a lot. So I'm just kind of like, I'm feeling a little weird, feeling a little brain boggled. Does that mean something? Is that a thing?
It does now.
It does
I get
now.
it. If you understand it, which I do, it works.
Yeah, I'm a little brain boggled, but I feel like it's all still settling for me, honestly, like the whole experience of SGF, but it's been really good to be back, happy to be home, and just getting back into the swing of things. What about you?
I feel the same. I'm so confused about how it's already halfway through June.
Messed up.
Where did that go? It's just been a whirlwind. But God, yeah, I'm still kind of riding the high from SGF, honestly.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was so awesome. It was so special. Yeah. And I was going to ask you to break the ice, I guess. Oh, also we should say that we did record some fun little sound bits throughout SGF that you may or may not hear sprinkled into the episode. So we've got some of that cooking for you. And then also to just warm us up, I'm wondering, Emily, if you could tell me your favorite food or beverage that you experienced during SGF.
Favorite food or beverage? I think I'm going to have to go with I gotta go with the tacos at Agave Soul.
Agave Soul, yeah.
Just around the corner from the JW. That place was awesome.
So good.
That place was really great. And their little street tacos, that was for LA, not insanely priced and very good.
I completely agree. They were really good. I feel like for me, it was probably the drink from Agave Soul, the first one that I had, which was a mezcal margarita. It was a tamarindo margarita with a tahini rim, and it just hit so good. And I was just feeling, that was when I was really feeling where I was, in LA with you. Life's good. It was a very special moment.
It really was. That was great. That was a great first afternoon.
Shout out because they serve chips and salsa with refried beans, little cup of refried beans. That was amazing.
Yes, that was really good.
Yeah. I wish more places would do that. Here's a little protein with your chips and salsa. Why not?
Yeah. I wish more places had, this might be controversial, I don't know. I wish more places that serve chips and salsa had salsa that tastes like anything.
Not just tomato water.
Tomato water. Yeah, tomato water with a tiny bit of hot sauce or something.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like a lot of places just don't have any flavorful salsas, but they did a good job there.
They did. I wish we had tried their guacamole because I feel like
Me too.
they've probably got a good guac.
I was thinking that we'll get them next time.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Also, favorite beverage for me. I mean, okay, those were actually like some of the best margaritas I've ever had. But
Yeah.
I think my favorite beverage was the tequila soda that I was
Girl.
getting at SGF at Playdays. That was awesome.
Girl, I did not see Playdays having an open bar the entire time coming at all. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I can just drink as much as I want and then play video games. That's actually that's too luxurious. That is, someone like me simply cannot handle the possibility of those two things coming together. So I tried to take it easy, but it was hard. The bartenders there really hooked us up. I feel like they loved us.
I think they did. I think
Yeah.
they did too. And I think everyone was very reasonable and like behaved themselves with the open bar, you know? So it was like a wise crowd.
Yeah, and I feel like one thing about No Small Games is we know how to treat the bartenders. So keep
Yeah.
that. If there are any bartenders listening, just put that in your pocket. We'll take good care of you.
Exactly. Hell yeah. I love the icebreaker. I love the culinary icebreaker.
Culinary.
Kind of moving on to like the highlights of being at SGF. How did you feel? Just talking about like high level impressions. How did you feel about the variety of events, both like the ones we went to and just what you heard about from other people?
I think like there was a really nice variety of stuff, and we didn't do everything. Obviously, I feel like Playdays was our main thing, but it was great to get to go to the mix, which I'm sure we'll talk about, and then the showcases. Like attending the showcases live seemed really fun. Although we didn't do any of that, I feel like I would love to experience that next time if possible. So I think like they do a good job at having a lot of different kinds of events to partake in, based on, you know, who you are and what you know about and get invited to. But yeah, I felt like it was cool. And it was so different from what I was expecting. Like going into it, only having experience at PAX, I feel that I never could have seen what happened coming and the way that it ended up feeling at the end, you know? So I don't know, very surprising. What about you?
I feel the same way. I think I had, high expectations overall, but they got exceeded.
Yeah.
It just really high quality like event production, and that's something that I
Definitely.
look for, having previously worked in events and like corporate events. I feel like I can be really picky about that kind of thing, and I have very few complaints at all. I think it was like an excellent package as an event, especially Playdays. And yeah, I don't know. The showcases seemed really cool. I hope we get to go to the SGF official showcase next year. The Xbox showcase seemed really, really
Yeah.
cool. It seemed like not only was it a great showcase itself, but some of the like little activation things that they had before and after seemed really neat. And who doesn't want the chance to go home with an Xbox? All the people with the
I know.
the fan like
Badges.
badges had got it. Yeah, damn, that's cool.
Wild.
Yeah.
Like it does feel it's wild because like Playdays definitely just feels like someone just built it from the ground up in a random part of LA, and they're like, this is your domain for the next like 3 days. It just feels like such a specific thing that can only exist in this one time and place and container, almost like magical. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? It kind of feels like the setting of a video game. And I don't know why,
Yeah.
like, the Lego games came to mind, but walking into Playdays, it feels like you are in this little, like, video game town where it's like, oh, here are all the, like, little hot spots where you can go and
Cute.
you can talk to your, not NPCs, devs, PR folks.
Yeah.
You're not NPCs, but you know what I mean. Like, you can
Totally.
go talk to people. They're going to show you a cool thing.
This is where you refill your water, your watering can at the open bar.
Yeah. My watering can full of tequila soda.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Any other like non-game highlights for you from SGF?
I think really just like the people, like seeing all the people that I look up to, having some people recognize us, which was really cool. Also just growing closer to friends that we already have in the industry, and like friends who do, games media, independent games media. It just was like a real honor to be around so many creators, because I think what's really interesting about SGF, and I guess just like, any convention or conference that is focused on games in general, is that you have such a wide variety of like kinds of creators. Like, like we're a podcast, but we're also a website, and we do reviews, but then like, you have YouTubers there, and you have folks who do mostly short form content, or like there's just so many different kinds of creators, and I found it really fascinating to talk to some of them and just like see their approach to creating content around SGF. And like there were a lot of specific areas that were very like, curated for, I would say, influencers, honestly. So I just thought that was interesting, and to just think about like, there were a lot of editors there, publishers, developers. So just the whole like melting pot of people that make up, I guess, both creating games, but also making the content about games and reporting on games. It was cool to see that variety of creators, I guess, there is what I'm trying to say.
I totally agree. And it was really interesting to see everybody's process. And, I think I felt very grateful for the kinds of content we create and our process, that like we were able to just go and kind of be present, play games, and that we weren't having to think about like, let me like grab a corner over here to like go film something. Or, like, let me be uploading things while I'm, here. It was great to just like get to be there, and I have so much respect for that. Like this short form video, folks, I'm like,
bro,
damn,
I could never.
I would like to. I hope to get comfortable with that one day, but yeah, it was really cool.
A very different process, I feel like. So yeah, it was fun. I found myself thinking about that a lot. And then of course it's always exciting to meet your heroes after one tequila soda. So like, just, lots of highlights around, I think, the people, and then the curated experience that felt very luxurious with like the food and drink. And then also just like people, it's so funny because like at PAX, I feel like sometimes you just play a demo at a little table with a tablecloth on it and a folding chair in the corner. And I feel like here it was like, oh, this feels very different. Like I have a different experience playing games here. So just the whole layout and way that it's curated and set up was really fascinating to me.
Yeah, and it would just really was so nice to get that like more quality time with the devs, even with developers or publishers who are at PAX, who you spend this exact same amount of time with. The quality is just so much higher, where it's like, I feel like when you're walking around PAX past like the morning of day one, everybody's got this kind of like wild look in their eyes. Everyone's in a little bit of fight or flight just from the level of like noise and quantity of people and everything. And SGF just felt so much more, it's just so much more relaxed.
Yeah, like I felt like we were really able to relax into ourselves and be really present, which was nice. Like it wasn't as like chaos as PAX. And so one other thing I wanted to mention about the people piece is that because it's kind of set up like a video game or like a campus, you will see people several times. So it's like, oh, there's Jenny. And then like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, there's Jenny again. Or like this person's in my next appointment with me. So that is really cool too, because I feel like just by the nature of how it's set up is giving you an opportunity to become, to connect with people, honestly, and like see people several times versus like at PAX, you have to try really hard to meet up with people if you want to see someone specific.
Yeah, and getting the opportunity to be like, oh, what did you play? Oh, oh, I haven't played that yet. I'm going to go see if I can play it. And then you do. And then you see them again.
Yes.
Later that day. And you can be like, oh, I played that. It was awesome. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good
But
stuff.
I'm glad we had each other the whole time. We were just stuck together. We did our thing. We played our games. We were just we're at the bar. If you can't find us, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was great. We were we were a little too in sync at times, maybe, with the synchronized talking. We don't usually do that.
We don't. But for anyone that came up to us and recognized us, we appreciate it. We're so honored, and it was very fun.
Truly.
And we don't usually talk in unison, so just give us
try
another
not
chance.
To. Yeah, it was very the Shining twins.
Yeah.
Coded. We didn't mean it for it to be. Well, before we dive into the many games that we played and freaking loved and are honestly offended and upset and angry that we can't be playing right this second more of. Before we do all that, we just want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon members who supported us in getting here. It really makes a huge difference. It meant a lot to us. We did our kind of pay what you can fundraiser with the Smash or Pass video. And, when we set it up on Patreon, I was kind of like, let's see if anybody does this. Let's see if anybody is willing to help us out. And the response we got and the support really blew us away. It exceeded all of my expectations for this. So before we proceed, I just wanted to thank everybody real quick who contributed to that. So I'm just gonna go down the list real quick. It's a lot because y'all really showed up and were incredible. So thank you to Jamie, to Kess, to William, to Bud, to Silcanet, to my mom, to Jenny, to Patrick, Kanisha, Offshore, Travis, Luna, our friend David, Jan, and my mom again. Thank you to everybody who supported the Pay What You Can. It was really amazing. I don't really have words for it. Y'all are the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really, really surprising and amazing to see everybody support us, and we couldn't have done it without you, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's dive in. We're gonna do this a little different, I think, from our PAX coverage. We're gonna go kind of like event by event or like publisher by publisher or something. I think there were natural ways for us to kind of group up some of these videos.
Yeah,
or
totally.
videos. I have video on the brain. Some of these games. So before we get into play days, the Friday of Summer Game Fest, we got to go to the Mix.
The Mix.
Media in... No. What is it? What's the Mix stand for again?
I don't know.
It's like Media Indie Exchange or something. Anyway, yeah. Media Indie Exchange. which is an indie exclusive event that takes place multiple times a year, and one of their events is at Summer Game Fest. And we got to play. This was really cool. This was a kind of open air mixer / like little game showcase with, I don't know, how many would you say, like 30 different
Yeah,
indie games?
I feel like it was honestly maybe even more than that. It was a lot of games. I feel like I heard someone say the number somewhere. I thought it was 50, but maybe it was less than that.
It easily could have been 50.
Yeah.
And we played a good number. We have 4 that we want to talk about in particular. Mm-hmm. Would you like to go first, or shall I?
You shall.
I shall. So the first game that we played, and one of my absolute favorites, is called Victor's Video Vault. And the devs were absolutely delightful to talk to. This game is very steeped in nostalgia. For the 90s, which obviously I love. And it takes place at kind of a Blockbuster video style video rental store. And it kind of bridges the like supermarket simulator type gameplay where you're like reshelving videos and games and helping customers out and stuff. And I love when games like this have a second part, because I've never been like super compelled by Supermarket Simulator or any of those. I don't want to just be doing this stocking and shelving and stuff. So once you're done with the day at Victor's Video Vault, whatever the last VHS was that was rented becomes like whatever happens in the after hours at the store, Jumanji style. So in the demo that we played, the last video that gets rented is kind of a disaster movie style game. And so all of a sudden, you've closed up the shop and there's like tornadoes and monsoons and all kinds of, and like earthquakes and stuff going on in the video store, and you have to survive it. And this happens with all kinds of different genres over the course of the game. So it's also got, I felt like it had a little bit of like almost mortuary assistant vibes where it's like you're in your workplace and you've got like stuff kind of appearing around behind you and stuff. And I had a fantastic time. I think it was really cleverly designed. I love the idea that every single night you're surviving something different.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of maybe like, what does surviving like a comedy maybe look like? Or what does surviving a rom-com
or a
potentially
musical.
look like?
I want to survive a musical.
Yeah. So I don't know. We didn't hear exactly what all the genres are that are going to be included, but I think it's a fun concept. Their little cards were like Blockbuster Video cards.
Yeah.
So cool. So I love the vibes, love the concept. It was a great kind of bite-sized demo. It was a good slice of the gameplay.
Yeah, the devs were super sweet. I think one of them is from Albuquerque. I was talking to him for a while, and like, yeah, I feel like the overall experience you get from this game is it's just special, and it's nostalgic, and it's fantastical, and it's all those things wrapped into one. And I do love like the combination of like, I'm running a store, but now it's magical, or now it's something else. I feel like it keeps it really exciting, and there were genuinely some moments of scares and horror, I feel like, in there for us. So it was a great game for our first. I think this was the first game we played at the Mix.
Yeah. I hope we weren't disrupting anything, because there was a part where I think both of us were screaming.
Oh my God, yeah, I think we both screamed. I was like, oops. Well, that's a compliment to the game, honestly.
I think so. I think
we were so
it attracted attention for sure.
Yeah.
What was one of your highlights?
Ooh, I'll talk about Sucker for Love Crush Landing, because I can't stop thinking about it. And I've never played a Sucker for Love game. I really haven't, but like, I've seen them around, and I do think that they're intriguing, but I've just never made the time to like, sit down and play one, but I've heard really good things. So it was cool. I saw that this was there, and I popped over there because I wanted to check it out. And because I know that they're visual novels for the most part, so I was like, I could handle doing that at my first SGF event. Like, I can press a button, I can read, let me at that game. And I actually was very pleasantly surprised by this, because I felt like right off the bat, the demo just introduces a very clear concept to you, which is that like there is this like asteroid meteor thing that has like crash landed into your apartment, I guess. So it just starts off like right off the bat with like a really strong hook, I feel like. And I don't know if this is how the actual game starts. I don't know what piece of the game I was playing, but I just liked this because I feel like I was kind of like trying to date this little asteroid that crashed into Crush Landing, I guess. It's in the name. And I picked like the most bold and unhinged choices, and therefore made it to a ending. I don't want to say happy ending, but I guess I will. Or not. Maybe we'll cut this.
Happy, tragic? I don't know.
Happy and tragic ending in like 5 minutes, I feel like. And so that I felt really accomplished because I finished the demo in a very short amount of time by making extremely brave and unhinged choices. So
I feel like the dev was impressed.
The dev was. I think the dev was impressed. Yeah. So I know that doesn't really give a good explanation of what the game is, but I feel like hopefully a lot of people are familiar with Sucker for Love. And now that I've played a little piece of one of them, I have been thinking about picking up the first one. I don't know when I'll have the time to do it, but I think I had a really good positive experience for my first time playing these kinds of games. So I'm excited to check out more of them. And the Crush Landing demo is on Steam right now if anybody wants to check it out. And I'm not sure about a release date, but it is up there on Steam, the demo. So if you like those games, check it out. Yeah.
I'm not really a dating sim girly so much, but Sucker for Love as a series is just so unhinged, and like all of the storylines are either, I think the very first game was kind of like eldritch horror focused.
Yeah.
They're all like either paranormal or kind of monster loving or whatever.
Monster loving, yeah.
And I think for me, it's interesting more just to see like what can happen than like to try to,
make something
try
happen.
to date. Yeah.
That's why this one's perfect for me, because it's like romance with an object from space or the sky.
Yeah.
So they really got my number with that one. I'm interested.
Yeah. It can get. I feel like it can get sexy in very unexpected ways.
Yes,
so.
which I love, and I've always said that. Okay. I'm done now.
Let's see. I guess I'll talk about Miria,
Perfect.
which was just a gorgeous, gorgeous experience. I think when I looked at just like the game at the booth setup, I think I imagined it was going to be something a little bit more narrative driven. But it turns out this is a puzzle game, very atmospheric, little bit eerie puzzle game, where every level has this kind of duotone thing where you've got this limited color palette and you've got all these kind of haunting environments where you're sort of trying to spot the difference. And you've got all of these different lights and different interactable things in the environment, sometimes doors or windows. You're trying to match one half of the scene to the other, and they're sort of broken up by like a water, like a kind of a water
it's
line.
Like a mirror reflection.
Yeah, one is being reflected and you're trying to match the reflection. So it's like, it's a puzzle game, but it's extremely meditative, and the music was beautiful. The scenes that you're interacting with were gorgeous and haunting, but never scary, at least in the demo. I think they're meant to be kind of calm and meditative, but with this like eerie vibe to them. And I was just hooked. I had to pull myself away because I could have just spent all my time there just continuing to play levels. And I could definitely see this becoming like an end of the night game. Snuggle up in bed with my Steam Deck, play a couple levels of this, and just drift off. I think that would be perfect. You know, little cup of tea next to you. Just really good vibes.
It was beautiful. I feel like the color palette is so strong, but so like limited, and depending on the level that you're in, and it's just like, it is really meditative. I feel like I was actually going to say I would love to play this on my Steam Deck in the dark, like a nice little rainy night. I just feel like the vibes are really cool. And yeah, the dev was so sweet to talk to. And I think this is just going to be a really gorgeous, hopefully very successful game when it comes out.
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if it's going to come out on mobile, because I could also see this being a really effective mobile experience too.
I love that. Yeah. I feel like it's great to have games like that on mobile because, like, I played all the Monument Valley games on mobile, and I do very strongly believe that that is the best platform to play them on. So, like, I could definitely see this being a great, relaxing little mobile game. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, God, I want to be playing it again.
Oh, I feel that. Also, I'm glad you explained it that way of, like, you're basically trying to match the image that is being reflected, because I think when I first was watching you play, I didn't quite understand what you were supposed to do, but that's a really nice way to explain it. Like, you're just trying, it's because it's like a puzzle sort of, but you're kind of just noticing things and then trying to execute those same things on the opposite side of the mirror, right? Or of the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's almost like a hidden object kind of game, but you'd never, I don't think on first glance you'd go, oh, that's a hidden object game.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Yeah, that was beautiful. I can talk about Molly the Marble. We both got hands on with this one. It was fun. I feel like, was I cooking a little bit playing this? I feel like I was
so cooking. You were like, oh no, I'm gonna be bad at this, and then you slayed. Yeah,
it was really fun. I actually like really want to play the full game when it comes out. It was so, and it's really hard for me to explain it because I don't know what it is. It's not really like, I think I called it a platformer, but it's not a platformer, but it's like physicsy. Like, you're moving this marble around this world that looks to me sort of like things that I've seen in like a Mario game or like Paladins almost. And you're like it's almost like you can control the weight of your environment. Or do you control the marble?
You control the environment. It's like, I think the best analogy I can think of is actually a physical toy. Like, picture those little like mazes that you would get at like the arcade. You'd trade in tickets for like a little maze in like a clear plastic box, and it would have like a ball bearing in it and like a little hole, and you'd kind of have to like tilt it around to like get the marble through into the hole. It's like that, but in game version with a much more fleshed out world.
Totally. That's exactly what it is. And I feel like it just felt great to play. Like, it is challenging, no doubt, but I feel that, like, once you get into a groove and you get some momentum going as the little marble, you can just, like, kind of skate on through. And then the dev did show us one of the bosses. So there are bosses in the game, which is really cool and I think unexpected and surprising given the art style. So I feel like there's a lot to offer here, and I love just like how cute and colorful and detailed the world is. And your little Molly the marble's so cute. She's got little eyes and she's blue. She's rolling around having a time. So in a lot of ways, I feel like that too at SGF. I don't know. I'm just rolling around trying to figure out what's going on. So yeah, I really liked it. I liked this game a lot, and I'll definitely be following it because I want to play it when it comes out.
Yeah, I do too. Really clever premise and fun boss fight. Tentacle tree. Fascinating.
I would also say that, like, everything we saw here at the Mix and that we got to, or that we just mentioned now, at least feels pretty unique and, like, pretty different from things that I've seen or played before, to be honest.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like it was like just nice for our first event to have such an exciting experience with the games that we got to test out.
Yeah, and there were so many games that I wish we'd gotten to test out too, but there were a lot of folks there. A lot of the games really didn't have you had to wait around to, like, hop on the controller.
Yeah. There were some hot commodities there.
I wish I have a photo of the name, but there was that one that's like Death's Door, but you're a snail.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, I want to get my hands on that.
That was such an Emily game. What the hell was that game called?
I have a photo of it.
It's like it was like a snail, like you're doing combat and fighting bosses, but as a really cute snail.
Yeah. It looked so fun, and the combat looked very kind of Souls-like in the way that, like, Death's Door is. I found it. It's called Deadroot.
Deadroot.
And you know what? I'll show the folks at home.
For the video watchers,
that's the key art
snail.
for Deadroot. I guess I can, like, edit in the actual key art, so that you're not just looking at my phone screen. We're new to video.
We're new to video. Give us a break. Also, I could see, for what it's worth, I could see it perfectly. It looked good.
Okay.
Yeah. I could see that cute little freaky snail. Yeah. Snail's having a time. I hope he's okay.
He's not.
He's not okay, and that's the best part about it.
Well, that was the Mix. That was a great time. Very glad to get invited to that.
Very fun.
Now we get into the meat of what we did, because we spent 3 whole days at Playdays.
Can't even believe it.
I know. And for folks who don't know what Playdays is, it's one of the larger events, certainly one of the longer events at Summer Game Fest, where media and content creators get to come together to see a whole bunch of games that are coming soon. I'd say the majority of the games that we saw are coming in 2027, some like late 2026. So it's a lot of, like, looking quite a bit ahead at the next year or so of game releases. And like we said before, it's kind of laid out in this campus. A lot of different very high profile publishers had, their little areas. There were some kind of trailer showcases and game demos that were very exclusive. We didn't play most of them because many of them are AAA, but there was a great indie showing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were playing games most of the time, and we only touched indie games for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah. Shall we start with Day of the Devs?
Let's do it. This was a wild appointment because I don't know if we've already said this, but everything is, for the most part, everything at Playdays is appointment only. So you schedule those appointments and then you go and play those games. The appointments can vary. So some of your appointments might be half an hour. Or sometimes you might only get 10 minutes with a game if you don't have a formal appointment. But the one for Day of the Devs, we played 6 games in 90 minutes. So that means we had 15 minutes with each game, and we just went back to back to back. And shout the fuck out to the folks running the Day of the Devs I guess, section at Playdays because they are running a tight ship, a well-oiled machine, and so kindly letting us know when it was time to move on. And I just was like, damn, they must be tired because they are so on top of it.
They really were, because there were, however many, I guess six stations. And so she was running around letting everybody know, and so apologetically, like, I'm so sorry I have to pull you away from this game, but we gotta rotate. So it was a great experience. We also there were a couple other games that were part of Playdays but weren't part of that rotation too. So where shall we begin?
Sorry, Garbanzo's making so much noise right now.
Oh, no.
Should we start with Bub? I feel like that was our first one, right?
Let's start with Bub, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Bub was really cool. I feel like that was, yeah, we walked over there and I feel like the two devs were I think they're called Paper Frog is the name of the developers and publishers of Bub. But yeah, the two of the devs were just sitting there and they were just like so kind and gentle. Like it was a great place to go, I think, for our first game that we got to play at Playdays. And we just like sat on the couch and I think I put on the headphones and Emily, you were controlling the game. And this is like a game to me that is really about like the process of making art and like and the process of creation and like hearing from the dev, it's a lot about like he's using a lot of art that he's created throughout his whole life, like both musically and visually. There's a lot of mixed art materials used in the game for the visuals, and then the audio is very like stream of consciousness type of vibes. Like you hear the voice acting and it kind of sounds to me like the way that I talk to myself even as I'm like puttering around my house, or the way that I write in my journal. So right off the bat, really strong vibes, but also very just like sincere and very like authentic. I don't know. Those are the kind of vibes I was getting.
Yeah, very, very like raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not super polished, in a really good way, in a really effective way. And I think my best description for the game would be that it's going to be like a narrative adventure. And like in the demo, you start off in your apartment. A lot of the game takes place in New York City, so you're in your apartment, like you said, you're kind of puttering, and then it slowly turns into this like dream-like experience where you're reliving a memory. Bub is reliving a memory from his childhood, and it's just a ride, right? Like you're just taken on a ride, and you just kind of go with the flow. And I can't wait. I think that there's going to be some really interesting and like profound and like very human reflections in it.
It's almost hard to describe. Like I feel like it's one that you just have to get your hands on, or like watch the interview during the Day of the Devs showcase for sure with the developers, because like to me it really did almost feel like a religious experience. Like I was like crying a little bit at the end there, and it's just so hard to explain, but it is something that just feels like extremely poetic to me. And so I think that a lot of people are going to, I just like love when you can experience a piece of art and it just makes you feel something, but you don't know why, but it like elicits this like really strong emotion from me anyway. So I don't know. I can't wait to see like the full thing. Like I think it's going to be a really interesting experience, and possibly profound, but also probably pretty like emotional, because it is just like so genuine. Like you can almost feel, I guess I don't really want to use the word pain, but like the love and the pain, and you can feel all that stuff that was put into it, all of it was being made. I think it translates really well.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was great.
Can't wait.
Only 15 minutes though. We were just there for 15 minutes.
15 minutes and get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll talk next about one of my faves.
Yes.
Lazy River. It's hard to explain, and I don't know if I would have known going into it like, oh, this is gonna be one of my favorites from this lineup.
Yeah.
It's a friend slop game for up to 4 players in co-op, and it's kind of a survival crafting experience, but with like a relatively short runtime. They describe it as a roguelite, so kind of like Peak. But in this case, you and your friends are trying to survive a water park where something has gone terribly wrong and the water has turned all of the other patrons into zombies. And you have to ride the lazy river down on a kind of a raft that you build, kind of base building style, made of inner tubes, but you can build on top of it. So you run around as your like little hub is floating down the river. You run around and like get crafting materials. You can get wood. You can find weapons. So you can like build your little bases floating down. And then there are zombies everywhere who are weak to water. So you're finding squirt guns. You're squirting zombies with water. You're throwing water balloons. You're finding pool noodles and chucking them at the zombies.
You're hitting Emily with the pool noodle if you're me.
You're hitting me with the pool noodle while I'm trying to save us. And it was just, oh God, it's just such a great romp. I feel like this is going to be a little bit more approachable than Peak. Like, yeah. I think Peak is kind of hard for people.
It's hard for me, for sure.
I think it's hard for most people. Yeah. And it's meant to be a challenging game, but I think this is going to be a little bit more approachable, where some people are going to be able to go off and do shenanigans, and other people who are like dead set on like, let's survive this, are going to do the crafting and the gathering and stuff. But I just love the environment. I love a water park. Water parks are one of my favorite places. It's like,
that's so interesting.
Fun shenanigans. I love pools. I love being in the water. Something that's very important to me. I'm happiest when I'm in the water.
I love that.
Yeah. So I love a water park, and I think my like a specific favorite takeaway was actually the physics when you're on your little like raft of inner tubes and floaties. When you hop onto it, just the way that the like buoyancy and stuff in the water, I felt like was incredible. It felt very realistic.
Yeah, I agree.
In a way I loved. So just Lazy River, it's gonna come out, I believe, in early access, and I believe they said like sometime early 2027 maybe. So
oh, yeah.
I'm going to be counting down the days. I want to play it so bad.
She loved it. She had a mad crush on this game, y'all. She did not stop talking about it after we played it. And it's funny because it's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying about like the physics. It does feel really good, and you feel the water, which is I feel like something that is probably hard to accomplish from like a developer standpoint. And like when you're swimming underwater, like it is such a cool feeling. And I loved like seeing the way that you approached this game versus the way that I approached it, because like they are offering a lot of things for you here. Like there's crafting, you're building your squirt guns, your combat, your base building sort of thing. But then also like if you're me, you're just hitting Emily with the pool noodle, or you're swimming underwater and like jumping all over the place. And I felt like still, even though that was my approach, like you and I were still able to work together in our specific, unique ways and get through some of the game. So I don't know, like I thought it was like fun that they're kind of offering a lot to all types of gamers.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's gonna be a great experience.
It was fun to play with you.
Yeah.
And next we could talk about Ithaca. That was a vibe.
That was a great vibe.
It was like, I feel like when we played Ithaca, it was interesting because I remember just, because I was listening and you were driving, you were playing, and this is like I guess do they call it an RPG? I don't think they do. Maybe they do.
Yeah, no, I think they do.
It's like it's a road trip RPG, which, you know, they got my number there once again. But it's very different from anyone that I've seen before, because you're kind of like, the world is real. Like you're playing as this like environmental lawyer, right? And she's like going on this journey, and you're playing from her perspective, but it's like, so I guess it's first person driving. Is that accurate?
Yeah, basically. You're not really, I think you can drive, like you can manually drive if you want. But for the most part, you put the car on auto drive. So you're like,
oh, right.
It's first person, and you're like behind the wheel, but you're not you're like able to do other stuff in the car.
Yeah. Like you can text or answer the phone or change the music or whatever. But I don't know, the visual world of this game was one that I just was like, I've never seen anything like this before. And I do not want to look away from the screen. Like it was so beautiful. It was like, And like I was saying, it's real, but it also is, it's very surreal and magical and dreamy at the same time. But then you look at stuff and you're like, oh, I know that's a tree. I know that's a windmill. I know I'm on a road. But then it will just randomly shift into these moments of like, now I'm in the sky and I'm flying. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
Yeah. It does have this quality of like, it feels like our world, but something is really different about it.
Yeah.
In a way that's like hard to understand. Maybe you understand from the beginning when you play the full game,
Right,
or
maybe.
maybe it's something you kind of uncover over time.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, and I think ultimately it's probably going to be like kind of a visual novel.
Yeah.
I wonder how similar to something like Citizen Sleeper it's going to wind
Oh,
up being.
yeah, it's a good shout.
Because like a lot of what you're doing ultimately is just like is having conversations with people, whether it's via text or via phone call or like other methods of like reading and hearing from people. But and I think your relationships to different people or your affinities or your traits sort of evolve over time based on what you
Yeah.
decide to do. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting.
It was just one that, again, I was like, oh, only 15 minutes, because I'm so sucked into like the vibe and the world of the game. Like, I just was like so enchanted by it from a
Yeah.
visual and audio standpoint. And so I was just like, dang, I really wish I was just going to get to keep playing this one, is how I felt when we walked away.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll talk about Screenbound
Yes,
next.
perfect.
Screenbound is one that I've been following for a while, I think a couple of years now on social media. And I'm so excited that I got to actually finally get my hands on it because it's a game that I think is incredibly cool in its presentation. But I've been really curious to see if this is a game that I can actually play because the premise is you're inside kind of the world of a video game. You're actually like a kid who's been transported into a game, and like the world itself is set up as a 3D platformer, and it's a very kind of Mario feeling at first. You've got like, the kind of mushroom hills and the bright colorful, I don't know if you pick up gems or I forget what it is that you pick up. And then there's like caves and there's like slime monsters and all kinds of stuff. It's very cartoony. So you've got this 3D world that you're navigating, but in front of you, you have basically like a Game Boy Color that you're playing sort of, and that like shows you a 2D representation of the same world that you're navigating, but with you get information from this Game Boy that you can't get from just looking in front of you into the 3D world. So there are hidden monsters, there are hidden doors, there are probably hidden objects, all kinds of stuff that you can only see through the Game Boy. And there's other ways that you can interact with the world through this device too. So I went into it like, this feels very big brain. That you have to split your attention so much and be aware of, because there's also things that you can see in the 3D world that you can't see in the 2D world.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my God, can I?
They're asking a lot of you.
Capable of this?
Yeah.
So I was glad to finally get to play it, and I think that it is tough. Like you do have to split your attention, but I think they ramp you up to it very thoughtfully and in a way that felt like reasonable, where I could understand it, I could grasp like what I was looking at, what I needed to be aware of. So it was like digestible, and I think you kind of warm up into what you're doing over the course of time. Sorry, Fiona just yawned really loud.
I thought it was a cat. I was like, what's going on?
What was that? She was like the quantity of weird noises she makes is...
She has things to say about Screenbound.
She does.
Yeah, I think it was like, I loved being able to watch you play. I got to listen for a little bit, and I would love to try this out at my house sometime. So I hope I get to.
Yeah, at your house.
At my house with no one watching me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Because I was just like, I can't wrap my head, like similar to how you were feeling. Like, I don't think I could wrap my head around playing it mechanically, but I'm glad to hear that it was it was something that you enjoyed and that it was something you felt capable of doing once you got your hands on it.
Yeah. And it was great to have somebody from their team there too, because he was really helpful in pointing out, we only had 15 minutes. So he was helpful in pointing out like, oh, you're going to wind up doing this and that. And like here, like he did a good job of showcasing some of the different things that you'll do in the game. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Should we talk? We both got to play Slap It To Me. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
This is such an Emily game. Oh my God. I played this one on Steam Deck and you were playing on the big TV and Jenny was playing on Steam Deck as well. All three of us were at the same appointment.
Yeah, it was great. It was so fun. God. Okay. So Slap It To Me is a first person 3D kind of puzzle game where your main mechanic, your main way of engaging with the world is by slapping shit. Slapping all kinds of shit. You can slap and you can pinch, I believe.
I never pinched, I don't think, unless I had to.
Because I think you can pick stuff up. Maybe they don't call it pinching. I don't remember. Because you can also pinch stuff in My Arms Are Longer now. There were two arm-based games.
Stretchy arm, yeah.
Yeah. But so in Slap It To Me, you are working for a puzzle solving agency where your means of puzzle solving is slapping stuff. And it's very slapstick kind of, okay. It's very slapstick kind of humor, obviously, which is a kind of humor I adore, Sometimes there's nothing funnier than just like somebody falling down. Or
it's
like,
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's very like Cosmo Brown Singing in the Rain. Like it's like physical comedy in its purest form.
Yeah. And clever writing, and I think very clever puzzle solving too. They call it like in their marketing material, they call it a celebration of stupid, and I think that that's wonderful.
That's
I think
beautiful.
We need that, yeah. But at the same time, I think that the actual game design is anything but stupid.
It's very clever.
I think that it's super clever. I think the puzzles are interesting. You do have to do a lot of lateral thinking where like, if you're going to open a door in this game, they're not going to give you a key. You're going to get something completely different that's going to have to do with the door that you're going to have to think like, oh, I bet I could, whatever. I bet I could put this whoopee cushion underneath the person's chair that has the key card, yeah,
like the printer jam example. Like you need jam for something.
Where's the jam?
Where's the jam?
It's in the Xerox
printer because the printer is jammed. Like hello.
Yeah. So I adored it, and it's fun. Like you have something to do if you ever get stuck on a puzzle. You have something to do to just like let your brain percolate on it. And that's to just slap everything around you.
Yeah.
And that's fun. And I want to be slapping all kinds of stuff all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, if you get stuck, you can just, and have a great time doing that. And then maybe something will come to you.
Maybe you'll slap some sense into something and then the answer will be revealed to you. Yeah, I feel like it's like very and also say like I do not like playing puzzle games at events like this because I'm like, please just let me do this on my own and I don't want to be perceived. But like the beauty of this game is like there's a lot of really helpful hint systems that I used all the time. Like you can get really nice. I feel like they did a really good job at making it both like fun and difficult, but also like a game that is really approachable for all kinds of players. Also, like I freaking love playing games on the Steam Deck at events like this. Like it's just I just feel really comfortable that way. So I was really honestly just vibing, having a good time, like kicking back on the couch playing this on the Steam Deck, and it ran great on the Steam Deck too. So
yeah, that's awesome. So good.
Great
Another
game.
one that I'm like, I wish I was playing it right now.
It's one to watch. Watch. Slap It To Me. Wait, is that what it's called? Yeah, Slap It To Me.
No, you know what? It's not.
Oh.
We made this. Oh, I feel so bad. We said this at on Finn's show too, on the NOLA Nerdcast.
Oh shoot.
It's not. It was written "Slap It To Me" in our notes, but it's called "Slap It Off."
Dang it. Slap it off.
No, sorry, not slap it off. God, slap out of it.
Slap out of it. Okay.
It's called Slap Out of It. Oh God.
Yes, everyone, please. It's called Slap Out of It, and we're truly sorry.
Sorry to Finn. Sorry to everyone listening to Finn's episode who can't find it on Steam because that's not what it's called.
But it is called Slap It
Out
Off,
of It.
or Slap
Out of It. I'm going to write it in
Slap
our
Out
notes.
of It.
There we go.
I need to slap out of it, if I'm being honest. Okay. And the last game we played for Day of the Devs, which we did not have an appointment for, but we saw it. We saw it happening, and we were like, we got to get our hands on that. So what did we do?
And we did.
We got our hands on it, and if it was very quick. It wasn't a formal appointment, but they gave us a Steam Deck and said, "You girls can try Mr. Records," and we loved it, and it was so special and fun. Yeah, Emily, how would you set up Mr. Records?
Yeah. So I'd say like the main gameplay is it's this really vibrant musical kind of rhythm platformer in the same vein of like a Bit Trip Runner, where you have a bunch of different inputs that relate to like the environment. Mr. Records is this old man named George who has this little apartment above a record store, and he likes to chill out by putting on a record and go into town in his mind.
So relatable. I'm honestly the exact same way, so I felt really seen here.
Yeah, it's like he drifts off into these kind of like psychedelic worlds where he's, you know, jumping over big like chasms and kicking little guys.
Little guys. Lots of little guys. Yeah.
And sliding up and down these like big streams of mustard and ketchup, and it's just very vibrant and poppy and kind of psychedelic. And there are, it sounds like, going to be dozens and dozens of songs that they've produced, original music for this game of all kinds of genres.
Yeah, I love the way that this game is structured, because it's like you get that rhythm game element when you're listening to the record, and when you're like in that fantastical world of having that experience of Mr. Records, of George being in his head experiencing a piece of music, and like you get that piece of it, and then you get like the piece where you are in the record store and helping customers find records and like unlocking new records. And so I don't know, like I love that we're going like from like a place of reality to a place of like maybe not reality, but it's real to George, and like this is what is in George's head. Like I just think that's so beautiful. And also like big shout out to the actual music, because I think we played through 3 of the songs, and each one was a different genre of music, but they all felt like they were within the same universe of the game of Mr. Records, which I think is a really awesome like musical accomplishment. And so I don't know, like I was just like, oh, I love hearing the funk version of Mr. Records. I love hearing like the Western version. And so I'm just excited to see how the visuals match up to the music for all of the tracks, I guess. And I hope that there's 100 of them, because it's so fun and satisfying to play. And you said something like earlier about like another day about how good it looks on the Steam Deck, and I just wanted to echo that. I think you said it in a better way than that, but it looks incredible. It's
one of the best looking games I've ever seen on a Steam Deck, and we both play our Steam Decks all the time, but I've never seen a game jump off the screen so much. The colors are so vibrant, and the whole thing is just, it's really snappy, it's really responsive. I think something, you know, that's super important about a rhythm game like this is having controls that feel really like tuned to the beat.
Yeah.
And it was so tuned to the beat that I was like, am I really doing this? Is like this a demo mode where it's just happening?
Yeah.
Because I think we both only miss like maybe one note, because it's just so,
it's fucking tight, dude.
The signposts of like here's when to hit the beat are just extremely accurate. And it's just poppy. It's so good.
It's perfection. I don't use that word lightly. It really does feel like a perfect game to me, like what I played of it anyway. And so like, again, I know we only got that like 10, maybe 15 minutes with Mr. Records, but it was just one that when we walked away, I was like, I just wish I could sit down with that Steam Deck and play all of it. Like I'm still thinking about it, you know, and I'm just like, when will I get my hands on Mr. Records? I need it.
Yeah. And so did we talk about the record store like side of things too?
Not super deeply.
So there's kind of a like wax head style component to it where your customers are asking for different records based on like the various qualities. I thought that was a cute way like to supplement the rhythm game. I think a rhythm game on its own is really cool, but the having that record store component felt like it really fleshed out the whole experience.
Yeah, and also like shout out to George for like doing new things at that age. Like this man is opening a record store, and I don't know how old he is, but it's very clear that he's an elderly person within his design of the character. Yeah. And like I just think it's really sweet that he's trying something new and following his dreams and like helping people find their next perfect record. What a sweet concept for a story and a character. I think it's gonna get really emotional. I can see it going to like almost that Hermit and Pig vibe where it's like that you might just look at this and think this is an old man, but there's so much more that will be uncovered, is my theory.
I hope so. Yeah, I think that this is gonna be a great game. I think that I don't know. I think the term or the phrase instant classic, it gets overused a little bit sometimes, but like I could see this being an indie game of the same caliber and like recognition as Untitled Goose Game you know, something in that vein where like people are talking about it for years afterwards.
Well, and at Playdays too, like this is a game that everybody mentioned loving, like and it was either that or a game that they mentioned like, oh, I haven't been able to get my hands on it yet, it's so hard to get my hands on it. And it's like, yeah, this is a game that people are talking about both from Playdays but also from just even seeing the trailer in the Day of the Devs showcase. So I feel like it's really sticking with people already, even if they haven't had the hands-on experience.
Yeah, it's true. Hell yeah, Mr. Records. Day of the Devs generally really killed it. Period. And I think they always do. I think that they do a great job of curation, and I think they're looking for something really specific in the not just in the games, but in the developers, which I think is a great approach to curating games.
I totally agree. Their showcase is always one of the best to watch, and so I'm excited. They've nailed it again.
They really have. Oh, also a little shout out from the showcase that the game itself wasn't there, but Happy Broccoli Games that made Duck Detective has Apple Crumble, which I'm very excited about. It's sort of an Agatha Christie style like mystery game, but like with all the sense of humor of Duck Detective.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. I had to take a look and make sure that Slap Out of It really is called Slap Out of It.
We're haunted by our choices.
I can't believe it. I know it. I think somebody when we were there said slap it to me, and that's it stuck in our notes, and then it stuck in our heads, and damn,
and we're deeply sorry.
If we make shorts out of this, I don't know how that's gonna work out, but we're gonna figure it out. Let's see, let's jump over to Nintendo.
Let's Nintendo go. I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Oh yeah. Very, very grateful to have gotten into the Nintendo stuff. This was obviously like a hot ticket to get in and see everything they had lined up for us. And we got to play a few games. We did not get our hands on, I think, the one I most wanted to play in there, which was Orbitals. But stoked for it. Stoked to hear, you know, more impressions of it.
Love the success. Yeah.
We did get to play briefly the demo for the Among Us story called Among Us Story on Guard, which is the like little single player narrative mystery game, and that was very cute.
It was cute. I feel like, I don't know if it would be my thing, but I love that they went in this direction for a game. It's very cute and unexpected.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun for kids, especially like kids or teens who are really into Among Us. It reminded me a little bit of like Spy Fox, which was my jam as a kid. So that was great. I think both of our favorites over at Nintendo, though, was Demi and the Fractured Dream.
Oh, it was so fun. This was like my first time playing on a Nintendo Switch too as well, and I loved the way that felt. I'm still thinking about it.
It's so thin but sturdy.
It looks and feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And Demi and the Fractured Dream is a third-person 3D platformer, kind of action-adventure game in the style of Zelda. Got a lot of Wind Waker comparisons because you've got a big feather that you can create wind.
Love it.
I think the combat was all very, very, Zelda fans will find it very familiar and nostalgic. And it felt great to play. I think that like the combat felt really good. The puzzles were like enough of a brain teaser to be interesting, but also like quick, snappy. You're not like getting super stuck on any of them. What did you think of Demi?
I loved it. And like, honestly, I've never played a 3D platformer that made any sort of sense to me. And it's really unfortunate because I want to play him so bad. Like, I really want to play him. And I just really struggle with them mechanically speaking. I just cannot, like, my brain cannot process, like, how do I go there? What am I doing? Like, how do I move around the world? And I just feel like it was just so intuitive. And when I saw that there was combat, I was like, shit, like this is going to be a struggle for me. But the combat feels so good. And the way that the tutorial works and they like explain to you your different combat moves and like your parry and everything like that, or your block, like I felt like it was so clear and just felt so good to play. And I don't know if part of that was because I was playing it on the Switch too, or it's like really good game design or a combination of the two. But like I don't think I've ever enjoyed like the way a combat game felt as much as I enjoyed this one. So yeah, I really want to play it. I honestly don't have any big takeaways other than that. Like I think it's like the slice that we were given, or like the amount of time we were exposed to it, I didn't have time to get invested in like the story or the characters or like what's going on here. I just know that it looked good and it felt good, and that is enough for me, baby. I'm sold.
Yeah, I am too. I don't know that we even really got much of a taste of the world or narrative. I'm sure it's going to be something interesting. It's also being published by Annapurna. So it was both at the Annapurna station and at Nintendo. So I'm sure it's going to have a good narrative if it's being published by Annapurna. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's really doing anything like super revolutionary, I think it's drawing from the success and design of a lot of past 3D, action adventure titles, but in a really good way. And they just did it really well. Yeah.
It's good, guys. It's just check it out. It's good.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up, I had a lot of fun at PM Studios.
Oh, this just felt like coming home to me when we were here. Shout out to their team because they made me feel so comfortable and special.
Shout out to Alyssa. Who was at the PM
you.
Studios area. Yeah, super sweet.
And who is that kind person that was talking to us during the HOA 2? We love you too if you're listening. You as well. Like these folks are just so kind and sweet, but also like just the vibes in there and the kinds of developers that are there and the games they've got going. Like I just was like, this is my beacon of safety at play days, gameplay wise.
It helped to be like they were upstairs too, and it felt very like little cozy, like a cozy little apartment,
Totally, yeah.
It was nice. So we played a few games up there. I guess real quick, we'll just mention that we played the Wolf Among Us remaster. I'm obviously so fucking excited for the Wolf Among Us 2. Didn't see that announcement coming whatsoever. Just totally thrilled for that. And it's being paired with the remaster of The Wolf Among Us, which turns out I didn't realize has been delisted from Steam. I think a lot of classic Telltale games have. And so they're bringing it back. They're remastering it. It was a great time. I think it's funny. I can see them not remastering it if the game was still available on Steam, because I played it last year and it still looks great and it still plays great. I don't think that it necessarily needed a remaster, but it's great that it's there. And I feel like the QuickTime events and stuff were a little snappier, little just, it popped more. So that was great. We also got to play an updated, completely different demo of Fractured Blooms.
And we are real Fractured Bloom sickos here at No Small
Yeah.
Games, as you may or may not know. Emily, do you want to give like a, because we played the first demo, or we played a demo of Fractured Blooms at PAX East recently, and it really shook us up. Like afterwards, we were unwell physically and mentally for several hours. And so this time it was like we kind of went in knowing what to expect. We went in like, knowing we might feel a type of way about this. But like this version of the demo, or I guess different, a different version of the game than we played at PAX, it was shorter and it was really different, I would say, because they kind of are introducing, I guess.
Sorry, Fiona's making so much noise. Why are you doing
I can't
that?
even hear her.
She's just going...
Baby. Oh, wait, no, now I can hear her.
And then she shakes every once in a while. It's fine. Sorry.
It's okay. Garbanzo's being a little demon. Yeah, so Fractured Blooms, this is like I would call it a homesteading horror story, I guess, where you're playing as this person who is in this very like remote house in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes the scary things happen and you don't know if they're real or not. So I guess I would kind of pitch the game that way, but it's got that, like, it's a first person perspective, so it kind of gives off the same vibes as, like, to me, like maybe some What Remains of Edith Finch, like some Walking Sim vibes as well, I feel like. And especially in this slice of the game that we just played at Playdays. And so they were kind of introducing some new elements to the game, I think. So like they were introducing like is it dating sim, do you think? Is that what they said? Yeah. So go ahead.
So the game is made by the same team who made Doki Doki Literature Club.
That's right.
So it's got a lot of the same elements where it's gonna have dating. It starts as kind of maybe a cute, chill game, and then the horror starts to ramp up. So it's got dating. We got to meet a character for the first time besides the player character in this latest demo.
Yeah, it was very it was a lot more chill than the last demo that we played, which I appreciated. But it was still interesting, and there were still moments where you were like, because this time I was playing and you were listening, and there were moments where you were like, what the hell? And so I think like, it just honestly just has me more and more excited for Fractured Blooms. We're going to freak out when it comes out. We're going to play it immediately. So
I can't wait.
We're even more sold on it, if you can believe it or not, after this.
Yeah. I'm so excited because like, I've heard so many good things about Doki Doki from people, but like, to be honest, I don't think I'm ever going to play it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy visual novels enough. And I think it's decently long. So I don't think that that's ever going to be my jam. But it takes all the things that I want to experience of Doki Doki and puts it into a package that is something I do want to play, where there's just a little bit more gameplay to it, a really beautiful world, and then like this just super haunting, intense kind of horror where it's all predicated around building of tension and release of tension, and it's done so effectively. And it's not going to jump scare you, but it does make you feel deeply unsettled.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
Totally. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Damn. And then last at PM Studios we played Hoa 2.
Yeah, it was really fun and peaceful.
It was really sweet. Yeah. Which I don't think either of us have played the original.
No, I've never played the original Hoa. I have it, but I've never played it. But it just, so I didn't know what to expect at all, because I've never even looked at any of the art or gameplay of it. But like, this is just like a really cute puzzle platformer, I would say. It's which is something I really like lately. And it's just, the art style is bright and beautiful and like magical. And there is like this sense of like when you're traveling across the platforms and you're moving, it is very like floaty, like you're floating and flying. You're playing as a fairy, and then it's just got this like beautiful soft music to back it up. Gorgeous environments. There's like some desert themes. There's some ocean. There's just like kind of a lot going on in the environment, but never too much where you feel overwhelmed. I just feel like this is just, they contain everything so well in this game. Like, it gives you some flexibility to move around and like explore and discover, but never to the point of like feeling like an open world or anything like that. To me, it's just like the perfect amount of restraint, I guess.
Yeah, it does. It feels like a big world, but you're always like very clearly guided to like where you need to go next,
Yeah.
which was nice. And yeah, just like the different environments you're in. We by the time the demo ended, we got to start swimming. The swimming felt really fun and nice and like paired well with the floatiness of jumping around. The swimming was also very fluid. And then so you've got kind of this overworld that you're navigating. You're kind of trying to explore, and then you've got these little sort of dungeon style puzzles where you go down and you solve like a machinery puzzle, and those were really fun because they started off very like I'd say simple and kind of like easy to grok, and then very quickly they started to ramp up into these like head scratchers where you're trying to figure out like not only what you need to do, but you have to be kind of fast at it. So I liked the kind of sweet spot of challenge that they baked into the puzzles.
Totally. Like, the movement feels really good and the puzzles are like intriguing, just like intriguing enough, I feel like. And I like that there is like an element of needing to be quick to solve the puzzles. Sorry. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Very, very good. Very fun. I could see this being a great game again to just like play in bed or like while watching a show, put on a movie, put on Hunger Games.
If you're Emily, put on Hunger Games. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. I can't wait. Great stuff at PM Studios. That kind of covers the like sort of like bunches, groups,
yeah,
the collections of games that we played, and then we played a bunch of other like random things here and there and all over the place
and everywhere. Here and there and everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, we have to talk about our game of show. I think this is both of our game of show.
Yes, it is.
This was at the Epic Games area. We played Out of Words. Do you want to describe it, or shall I?
I'm out of words to describe Out of Words. No, I will say like it is a claymation, stop motion animation, puzzle platformer where you play as two folks without mouths, and they are just you don't know why they don't have mouths, but it's called Out of Words. And you are, I guess, navigating this really beautiful, strange environment that is very artful, and you will come across quirky characters and magical beasts, perhaps. And you never know what you're going to come across, but if you're Kate and Emily, you're going to have a good time playing it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's exclusively co-op, 2-player co-op. So it's kind of got a It Takes Two sort of vibe to it, but in this like 2D. I don't even think it's 2.5D world. Maybe it becomes 2.5D. I don't know. But you're each playing as one of these two teens, and the thing that really made this stand out to me was how intuitive the co-op element of it was. It just with very few words. There was one character who could speak, but otherwise there's not a lot of dialogue that's going to happen in this game, obviously. So without words, without a lot of tutorializing or explanation, they just really effectively communicated like, here is what your two characters can do, and then here's what they need to do in this moment. And it was just so cool. Like, you know, we've both played a lot of co-op games at this point, and I don't think I've ever had such a cooperative and fluid time where we didn't have to negotiate a ton. We didn't have to stop and talk a ton about like, you do this and then I do that. And then like, you know, we were able to just get through it and just very intuitive, fun puzzle solving.
It was so fun to play this with you. I feel like this was one of the times where I was just totally immersed in the game and like the experience that we were having together, because we didn't have to stop one time to be like, what do we do, or what do I push, or like what should we do next? Like we just were moving through this game, and it's so intuitive, and like I don't know, it's just it does. I think we earlier, like, or another day, compared it to maybe like visually looking like Inside a little bit, in terms of like how small your character is, but the world around you is so big. And like I really love games like that. Like I love games that where you're just kind of like moving and you just keep going forward, and like the world changes around you. And I feel like that's what this game is, but it's just so much more intuitive and approachable than a lot of those experiences. Like I just feel like we just didn't get stuck. We were just vibing, and we were without words communicating about how we were going to play the game. So I think it feels incredible. It looks incredible. I'm sure that there's going to be a great story attached to it, and I'm really curious about the characters. But I think like playing this with you and having it be our game of the show is just like so special to me.
It was. And like, I don't know, stop motion and claymation is just like, both feels really nostalgic to me, and is also just so special because of how much human time and care it takes to make that. It's wild. The idea that anybody wants to make a video game that is stop motion like this is mind-blowing to me, because it takes so much time. And it had such a kind of Ghibli-esque, like Spirited Away kind of feel, that I have no idea what's going to happen next. Like, I think we got a really cohesive, like, taste of it in the demo, but like, feels like the sky's the limit in terms of like, yeah, there were like giant beasts coming out at the end, and we're flying through the sky like magical, like little manta rays and stuff. So who knows what happens next after this.
Oh my gosh, who knows what we'll see. And yeah, the manta ray was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I need a plushie of that.
I can't wait. Do we have a release date for Out of Words?
I can check.
I don't know.
Because it was also at the Nintendo appointment as well. We didn't play it there, but it was there as well.
Oh, that's right.
I think it just says coming soon. Coming soon. 2026 video game, but apparently.
Oh, maybe it's coming out later. Is it? I don't know. I won't speculate, but I hope it's soon.
We hope it's soon. We'll be there.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to talk real quick about, I mentioned it already, but we went over and saw the folks from Jackbox Presents, which is the new Jackbox publishing arm of,
Arm.
If you've played ARM. If you've played Jackbox games like the party packs and stuff, same organization, but they're publishing indie games now as well. And their debut game that they're coming out with is My Arms Are Longer Now. And this is a completely, I think, hand illustrated, they said, kind of cartoony, puzzly sort of game in the vein of Untitled Goose Game, where you're given objectives you're given a scene, you're given some objectives, but you're not told exactly how you're supposed to do it, and you kind of just have to experiment and interact with the world and see what you can make happen. So you're controlling this really long, really bendy arm that can kind of snake around these environments, and you can also slap and pinch in this game.
Real theme coming up here.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was very charming. The sense of humor, I think, was very on point. Again, lots of like kind of physical comedy going on. You were listening to the audio at the time.
Yeah.
When I was playing, and it sounded like a really great audio.
It was great. Too. It was awesome. Yeah. It's like, and also like shout out the demo was perfectly timed, I think. Like it was such a nice little slice of this game. And so yeah, like you are on a train, I guess, and you're using your big long arm to sort of like like get certain things and unlock certain things, but you have to be careful. And so like there's a lot of like just like funny like little vocal affirmations coming from the people on the train, but also from the arm. So it's like, oh, okay, like the arm is apologizing, but like I can only see the arm, so like who is it? Who am I, you know? But basically the voice acting and the sound effects are great, and they're very funny, and they're very like they're very like casual. It's not like, oh, I'm voice acting right now. It's just like so genuine, and it really adds to like the visual comedy that's going on. So yeah, I think like overall I'm really interested to see, I guess, more about this game, because we just saw such a small piece of it. I'm curious like what the other puzzles and environments will look like. But I think that they really nailed the visual style and just like the comedy within the game, because hearing it does make it like even more funny than it already looks.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be a really fun little bite-sized experience.
Yeah.
It's funny. I brought up to the Jackbox folks that I thought the art style felt really reminiscent of.
Thank goodness you're here.
Yeah, thank goodness you're here. It's super similar art style, and they were like, "Yeah, we've heard that a bunch." And the devs are like really adamant that like they started working on this before "Thank Goodness You're Here" like ever hit the scene. So I think it's a great art style for a game like this. Very like feels very tongue in cheek, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is like, it's a popular art style right now. I feel like you could even say that Mr. Records looks a little bit like this too. Like very like, I feel like clearly outlined, very like hand drawn animated style. That sort of just like you like understand what you're looking at, but it is a great companion for comedy, I think. So
I think so. You know what it reminds me of? I just realized is like comics, but not like Marvel comics, but like comic strips from the newspaper.
Totally. Absolutely.
Like The Far Side. You know? And I feel like that lends itself to that kind of humor, because it is very like, I don't know. In a comic, you have to communicate a joke visually in really like a really bite-sized, brief way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So they do a good job with that in this game for sure.
Yeah. What do you got next?
I think we could just talk about Tenebrosomnia, and I think we could call it.
Close it out
that.
there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This was a fucking special time.
Yeah. So you had already played. We've been watching Tenebrosomnia for a couple of years since whatever showcase it got announced in.
I almost want to say it was like I don't know. I think the first time I saw it was either in the Latin American Games Showcase a couple years ago, or it was also, I want to say, featured in, there's like a horror games showcase where I saw both this and By Sweet Carol, which is when I decided I wanted to play both of them, I think. But anyway, I played the demo for Tenebrosomnia back when it was in a Steam Next Fest like over a year ago, and it was really scary, and I played it on my Steam Deck, and it played great on the Steam Deck. But this is like a survival horror game in the pixel art style, but also is like point and click adventure and puzzly as well. But it is it also has live action cutscenes, so you never know when those live action horror cutscenes are gonna come across your screen, which is the most terrifying part about it. Because you can't expect it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm seeing this monster in pixel art form. Oh, but now I'm seeing it right in front of me, and it's running at me.
50 times more horrific, and
detailed, and it's like, and you can't. So these like, you know, live action cutscenes, they're basically like clips from a movie. It is a movie. They did make a movie, and took the clips and put it into this game. So you can't control anything when you're in the FMV moments, which I think is really interesting. Also to like give the player so much control of like, I'm doing combat, I'm solving puzzles, I'm like physically and mechanically locked into this world, to then give them a chance to step back, but they can't control when that's going to happen, and almost like force them to like take a step back and like just watch, and you don't know how long the scene is going to be, but it is terrifying. So I had already experienced this in the demo, and what we saw here at Playdays was very similar to what I had already played before, but I got to see some new stuff. Like I got to see new filmed cutscenes. I got to see they're introducing some puzzle elements that were really fun to play. So I was having a great time because I'm already a big fan and already really looking forward to it. And during SGF, it got a release date announcement, which is October 16th of this year of 2026. So for me, it was just like awesome to meet the developers and the actress who is the Argentinian scream queen, I guess, and who is in a lot of horror films there. And she was in her costume from the film, like at SGF. And so it was like, when the second I saw her, I was like, oh my God, they're doing this in such a cool way. But it was just, the developers were so lovely, and like, I liked watching you be able to experience it. I think for the first time, right? Emily, was when you like saw it here at Playdays. So what did you end up thinking of it?
I love it. It's so blown away by the FMV. Like, I think FMV is having this moment. It's always been in indie games in particular, but I think it's having a big resurgence right now in 2026. And I always associate it as being like very low budget, kind of campy. You know, a lot of the games that include it are either very campy horror or very or kind of comedic use of FMV. And this is like, it's hard. I feel like I have to stress again, like how cinematic, how, big screen Hollywood quality we're talking about with
quality.
And it's just it's gorgeous, and I think it's so interesting to have that juxtaposition of pixel art, really low def pixel art. I think it's probably 32-bit, and then jumping into, it might even be 16-bit anyway, and then jumping into this extremely high def cinematic cutscenes. I think the acting too was extremely good. Like, obviously they talked about how they kind of recruited all of these different actors and filmmakers from the horror scene in Argentina to be in this. So the acting is really high quality. And it's just, I think, going to be so interesting. I also was glad to feel like this is something more approachable for me to play. The trailer is cut really effectively to be completely terrifying, but I think that the way the cutscenes are integrated into the game didn't feel like it made me feel like, okay, I can play this. This isn't quite as terrifying. It's not trying to jump scare you per se. It is trying to startle you, but it's not like so grotesque that I have to look away or cover my eyes or something. So yeah, I agree, like getting to talk to the devs who are like, one of them is a filmmaker, the other one is the dev, I think, behind Faith, and the actress was like a great combo of getting different perspectives on making this game.
I love that.
So it's gonna be really special. I can't wait.
Oh, good shout. Yeah, I think a lot of folks who like horror, but also just who like to have a fresh experience with their indie games should definitely keep this one on their radar.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
yeah,
we played a lot of games, so we didn't discuss everything we played. We ended up playing 25 games in 3 days, so we're tired, but we're inspired, like I said in another podcast that we recorded about SGF, which we've already done 2 other ones, and there are more coming. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for that. I will also say we're working on some content for our website that covers SGF as well. So I don't know which ones will be out by the time this episode comes out, but just keep your eyes on the No Small Games site and on our socials, because we're working on some written content as well that covers SGF. So we got lots of stuff coming for you.
Yeah, we experienced so much in 3 days. It's hard to like fully encapsulate it all into content, but we're trying.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
Yeah.
Our first SGF too, so it could evolve and change over the years if we keep going, what our content could look like. So thanks everybody for being here with us. And like Emily said at the beginning, like, thank you so much for supporting us, both monetarily, but also just being excited with us and supporting us on social media and listening to our show. It means the world. And I think we're feeling our cups are very full after getting to do this together. And that's because of you folks that are listening right now. So thank you so much.
Yeah. And I think I walked away feeling just really inspired by indie games, by the scene.
Yeah.
I think I was saying on some episode recently that sometimes it feels like, oh my God, can the collective of indie game developers continue making games at this rate of this quality? Like, are we just seeing all the great games that we'll ever get, and like, can we possibly get more? And we can, and they're working on it. They're working on more great games. So it's exciting to be like, okay, even amidst this crazy year where it feels like every other week we've got like 3 game of the year contenders, there's still more to come. 2027 is going to be just as big.
Oh, we can't wait. We'll be there. We'll be there doing our best to talk about them. Any way you want to close this out, Emily?
I don't know. Any way you want it.
That's the way. I was ready to keep going. Okay.
It's tough because of the delay.
True. We got a delay. Yeah.
No, well, I mean, we should close it out somehow.
We'll see you for our, I guess we will see you for our summer season, which comes out on June 25th. And then we have our June Indie Game Roundup, where we'll probably talk about some Steam Next Fest games, maybe some games we've played since the showcases have all been announced, maybe some demos. So keep your ears out for those. That's coming at you June 25th. It's going to be the first episode of our summer season. And then the last day of the month on June 30th, you will hear our June Indie Game Roundup. So you will hear from us soon.
Yeah, more coming at you very soon. Before you know it,
before we know, we're not even there yet, but you might be there when you're listening to this.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.